Back to break with Writing with Style. I tried to read it backwards in the monitor and got cut up. Writing with Style by Lenore Szuchman, and I'm going to talk you through the appendix. The first appendix, which talks about how to edit. First thing I'll say is that we spend a lot of time on the outline in hopes that you can avoid some of the bigger rewrite issues. Szuchman talks about, at the end of the second paragraph, first you revise, second you edit, third you proofread. And it's a really interesting approach. It's not necessarily one I've formally used before, but I think it does make sense to first focus on the big picture, the big ideas, and then the last thing to be that proofreading, that nitty-gritty details. The way that I structure my classes when I get to focus on writing like I do here is I have you do a rough draft that you just bring and show to your peers. I don't really look at it other than to look through to see, did you finish it? And so you'll have a big revision after that. And I would suggest to not just take your rough draft into the Writing Center. I would do at least one round of revision before you take it into the Writing Center. So if you follow her, first you rewrite, then you edit, then you proofread, I would take it to the Writing Center for help with editing. And they may give you some more revision tips, but you want to catch the big errors first. With the first rewrite, one thing she recommends on page 115, a few paragraphs down, outlining your paragraph or outlining your paper. So we wrote an outline before you write your paper, but set that aside and see if you can create an outline based on your paper and then see if it makes sense. Sometimes you ended up writing something a little different from what you set out to write, which is okay, but you need to clarify which direction you want to go. Sometimes you'll rewrite to go back to that original outline. Sometimes you'll adjust your introductory paragraphs and other things to reflect this new, better flow. So it's kind of like a backwards outline. You can also ask readers to do that for you, especially peer reviewing class. You can ask the person to, figure out what's the rough outline and see how closely it matches yours. She gives a lot of really good detailed tips about how to walk through. Then 118, she talks about the second rewrite, which is probably around when I would take it to the Writing Center. She talks about checking paragraph by paragraph for a topic sentence. You will be getting sick of your paper by now. It's a long process. It's a marathon, but you're going to be really proud of the final product that you create. Sorry, let me just try to adjust my microphone so that it's actually picking up what I'm saying. Somewhere around here, she says read it out loud later. I would read it out loud sooner. And somewhere in this second rewrite is also probably when I would check for citations. So you want to make sure each paragraph has at least one citation, usually 2 or 3. And you want to, actually for this paper, I will say each paragraph should, in the literature review, should have at least 2 citations because you want to make sure you're integrating ideas from different articles. You're not just reporting, no serial book report. Another thing that I'll say about this basic approach, it follows what my husband lovingly refers to as the Ernest Hemingway approach, which is famously, I don't know if it's true or not, but write drunk, edit sober. And I'm not actually recommending that you drink to write your paper, but what I do recommend is that when you're writing, when you're creating the content, you do it quickly and fluidly and without worrying too much. Let a rough draft be messy and ugly and need fixed because students often drag so much trying to create a really strong draft to start with, and a lot of that can be done more effectively in editing. So write freely, edit carefully is how I'll adapt that. And then the third inspection, Lenore Szuchman talks about, I like her idea of circling every comma and colon to really put pressure on, is this punctuation appropriate and necessary? And again, there's guides like Khan Academy and the APA workbook that can help you with that. And then you can also use the Writing Center and any friends who are good at editing. Look for more than just fixing today's mistakes. Look at figuring out what kinds of systematic mistakes you make and how to learn to catch them yourself. And don't put pressure on yourself to write perfectly every time. It's okay to write messy and edit carefully. Thanks. Bye-bye.